Purdue had their inter-squad scrimmage over the weekend. It was structured as three separate scrimmages. They rotated teams. Everybody got to play. Braden Smith, always opposite of Trey Kaufman-Renn. We have an entire video, probably 30 minutes of breaking down what we saw and heard from those scrimmages on the channel. You can go check it out. But after the scrimmage, players and Matt Painter also spoke to the media as if it was a real game and had their post-game press conferences. There's roughly 12 minutes of Matt Painter on YouTube available to hear everything that he said from a variety of sources. We're not going to play a clip from this because it sounded like it was really loud where he was being interviewed just in like the hallway in Mackey Arena. But I will speak to one specific thing he said about the Purdue rotation that caught my attention. He was asked about trying to get Meyer minutes, just as direct as a question could be. Omar, who, by the way, played opposite of Braden all three scrimmage sessions, they were not really working on those two together. Just pointed like, are you worried about getting him minutes? How hard is that when you've got so many good guards? Matt Painter went on to give a very long, nuanced answer, but the highlight of it was this one sentence quote. He said, quote, "It's easy when you have 7 or 8 guys you like. When you have 12, it's really hard. That'll sort itself out as we get closer to the season. It sorts itself out in practice." It's as pointed as we've heard Matt Painter be about this situation. We've covered this competition for the shooting guard minutes for 2 months at this point. But 12 guys you like, clearly 12 guys who deserve to be rotation players. This kind of seems like it's Paint implying they won't all be in there, and it's a very difficult process. What do you make of his quote?
October 20th to October 25th is Purdue Love Week for Tano. He's right. On my coach speak bullshit meter, this is a two, maybe a one. It's hard to figure out rotations when you have so many players, and it can lead to early season stumbles. It can get plenty of your players on your team frustrated. It can become a locker room cancer. And I think that him bringing that up in relation to the Meyer question is a little telling because we've talked about on this channel the questions are at the two for Purdue, right? Who plays? Is it Harris, Cox, or now Meyer? And then, of course, how do you split up the front court minutes between TKR, Clough, and Jacobson? I think that they have some defensive issues on the interior. How many minutes do you get Jacobson? The good part about this problem is that when you have so many options, you typically end up finding the right one, and it's better than not having any options. Two examples that I can think of recently were Gonzaga 2 years ago when they were running basically 5 or 6 players in the NCAA tournament, and with just no depth. This is a niche one for me specifically. UMBC last year when they were running 6'6" at the five and couldn't rebound a single basketball. It was ridiculous. The bad part is that it's hard. It is really hard. It takes time. It takes hard conversations with assistants and players. It takes growing pains. It takes maybe some losses. And eventually, you're right. Someone's probably going to get left out and someone might not be happy about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's the reality, right? It's the reality of being this good. And I don't even mean any individual players, but when you're the preseason #1 team in the country, you're recruiting at a high level. Now you're portaling at a high level. Now you're international recruiting at a high level. Like Payne has checked all the boxes 1 year after not checking really any of the boxes, right? And we loudly critiqued it at the time, and people didn't like it at the time, but it bore out to be pretty true. He left a lot of shit empty on last year's roster that could have helped those guys. This year, no stone was left unturned. It was like, I don't care that we already have 10 guys we like. Let's get 12 guys we like. And, it's a very clear quote from him that is honest and real, but it also probably didn't need to be said. Like, we didn't need to hear Matt Painter even say, I've got 12 guys I like, to know this team has 12 guys worth playing. Like, I look at the numbers from this scrimmage, the way they stacked teams, it was basically 6v6 for 3 different sessions. Liam Murphy was the 12th guy. Dion, you okay? You look a little sweaty.
So every August, September, my air conditioning breaks, and there's just nothing I can do about it.
Dude, that's tough. Out in California, too? Like, I mean, what is it, like 80 degrees still there today?
Today's gonna be like 85, 90, but like peak summer, it gets like 110. My AC just doesn't ever hold up.
I mean, it sounds like it's a bummer that you can't take advantage of Duncan Mechanical Solutions. Because Duncan Mechanical Solutions is an HVAC company based in Angola, servicing the tri-state area, bringing commercial quality to the residential world with excellent customer service. You heard us talk about Duncan Mechanical last summer. If you need heating or air conditioning, kitchen or bath remodeling, or all of the above, Duncan Mechanical is the place to go in the Midwest. Go to DuncanMechanicalSolutions.com to take advantage and make sure you don't wind up like Dion. Liam Murphy is a 6'7" sniper senior that shot 42% from three last year. And like by all accounts was brought here from the portal to play back up 4 minutes. And right now he very clearly looks like the 12th guy because Jack Benter, a redshirt freshman, looks awesome. So, just specifically at the guard spot, since this question was framed through the lens of Omar Meyer, right? What I think is happening here is Painter and the staff sort of deciding, do we want to put Omar Meyer in the mix at the 2 to play next to Braden, or do we want to keep him as the backup point guard and only have him work on that and like what's best for the team? I think the reality is if the other options at shooting guard weren't emerging so loudly, you probably would work a lot on Omar Meyer at the 2, play them together, build chemistry. But the reality is, from everything we've heard this summer, CJ Cox and Jakari Harris look really good right now. Anytime they're in a basketball setting, they're impressive. In fact, Cox and Harris were the leading scorers in these 3 scrimmages. So if that's how those guys are going to perform, and then you have Antoine West behind them, a freshman who's been, kind of designated as the defensive guy of all of these guys, you can't force feed Omar Meyer minutes at the 2 at those guys' expense. No matter how good he is as a playmaker, it just doesn't make sense. So I think that's what Painter is alluding to. And luckily for him, he gets to kind of frame it as, well, our whole roster's that good. But back to the question of, are you going to force feed Omar minutes? How hard is that? I think this is Paint saying it's not hard. We have too many shooting guards that are deserving of spots right now. At some point, Omar will work his way onto the floor, but I'm expecting that to just be when Braden Smith needs a rest right now.
Yeah, I like that take, putting him as the backup point guard and then rotating Cox and Harris at the 2. And then you can kind of run you can run at 2 deep at both positions. Your bench will be good. I remember what I was going to say. Is there going to be like an adjustment curve for him early in the season? He got on campus a little late, right? Like, could he not see a lot of minutes early on and then see more later in the season?
So that's what I think we're sorting through right now. It's hard because he had 9 assists in the scrimmage. Braden had 10, and they were one-on-one with each other.
Yeah.
He looks as high level as you can look as a passer. It's just totally redundant to what Braden Smith needs next to him. So the negative on Omar right now, he looked the weakest defender on the entire team, and it's a team full of weak defenders, as you know.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to force an extra passer on the floor when you need shooting and defense at the 2. So to me, I've kind of taken a huge step back because I think it can be simultaneously true. Omar is incredible, but he's not what the team needs. And as long as he's bought in on a 2-year plan, he takes the ball from Braden next year and you feel like you've got one of the best point guards in the country, but you're waiting a full year. It's almost like damn near call it a red shirt. He'll probably get to play 5 minutes a game when Braden wants off the floor, but they're not going to take Braden off the floor to let Omar get point guard minutes this year. That would be ludicrous for all involved,
Yep.
So we'll see. Good problems to have if you're Matt Painter and if you are a Purdue fan for sure.